Hey, how are you? It's the Copa America third place game, the consolation prize. It's Canada versus Uruguay. It's going to be a battle, is what it's going to be, but it's an interesting development as far as everything that happened. Hey, how are you? Thanks for being here. Let's talk about, and it didn't show up in the chat here, but it's on the chat on the channel. The Wrexham game that I normally would cover and do the watch party, somebody said, hey, you shouldn't have skipped that. I couldn't watch it. And so I contemplated, like, there was nothing to listen to. Do I sit and follow Twitter with everybody and have a chat? Do we connect? And I decided not to. I hope that's okay. I just thought watch along, watch party. Nobody would ever ask. I guess I should run a poll in advance because the subscriber count took a hit, and I apologize for that. Yeah, I just didn't think there'd be that many people interested, and so I'm sorry. I'm back. We're gonna have all of the Wrexham matches except for the Vancouver one, unless somebody wants to pick it up and do it because Brendan and I will be at it. WNG fan, how are you? I hope we can claim third place, but for reasons that I will go through, we are going to be behind the eight ball. We'll talk about the Uruguay-Colombia match just as far as the post-match shenanigans for a bit, or I think it has to be addressed. No suspensions for this one, or they will be forthcoming. Jesse Marsch, the coach of Canada, ended up just commenting that he thinks it's a travesty, that it condones the actions of those parties involved if you don't suspend players for their conduct. I'm torn. There are people who say, and I think there has to be a lengthy investigation on this one, to be fair, on 3 different fronts. And so I'll go through that in a second. But just to go through the big issue and the big question, Uruguay's throwing almost its full strength lineup out. One change from the semifinal. 2 of their players, De La Cruz and Oliveira, are the only 2 who have lots of minutes who aren't in the starting 11. They are throwing their weight at us. That's fine. They're entitled to do so. Bring it on. The Flamengo man from Brazil, De La Cruz, Oliveira from Napoli and Serie A, they're out of the lineup anyway, and could come in later. Canada going a completely different route. We only have 3 starters out of the 11 that are going to be starting off on this one. One of them, St. Clair, I thought it was going to be him. I was kind of hoping it wasn't. The reason Tom McGill is a keeper with Brighton, he is the 3rd man in Brighton. He's the 3rd man with the national club, and he hasn't had his cap yet with Canada. He's available for England. He's probably way low on their list, but I'd like to just have the guy get his cap. And so crazy news cycle in the U.S. right now, and I have been out. So I woke up this morning. I've checked the mail, or checked Twitter and all that sort of stuff. Saw the 5-1 win, and so was excited to see that. Although really nothing to get out of that one. Heard that Lee has some tightness in his thigh and didn't play, but that it's not expected to be more than that. Heard that the young guys look good in a 5-1 win over Hanley Town in a small little lower league club that has a heck of a pitch by the sounds of it. And it sounded like the young guys played well. Everybody accorded and afforded themselves well. So that's great for Wrexham. And by the way, if you've never been here before, say hi, join the chat. We can get into it. But I cover a lot of Wrexham stuff. So when Marie ends up saying crazy news in the U.S., I assume that's what she's talking about, unless there's something else going on in the world, because I've been at a birthday party for a 2-year-old. That's what I've been doing today. I have been checking in on Euro. My wife is English. I'm obligated to watch. It was funny. It got to penalty kicks and she went for a walk. She went downstairs and was like, I'm not doing this. We're not going to end up winning this. It's over because England's performance and kicks in the quarters less to be desired. I was expecting to have to see it again before that last minute goal. Look, they're getting results and that's good for them. I'm happy. What am I? I'm 31% English according to my ancestry, so I feel like I gotta back them. And 3 people in the household have UK passports, so yeah, I'm hoping they end up pulling it off. I think they're behind the 8 ball. It is what it is on that front. This one, just to go through. So I did want to see Tom McGill get his cap today. That's not going to happen, but De Fougerolles, the Fulham man, 18 years of age, he's getting his first start. It'll be his 2nd cap. He's going to be in the center back position, replacing Darnell Cornelius. The other interesting draws, no David, no Laren. They're going to go with Oluwase, and I actually don't know which of the other midfielders is going to step up and take the place of the two strikers. I assume Oluwase is going to be playing up front. But I don't know who's going to be there. We'll see how that ends up breaking down. But this is the starting 11 for Uruguay. Numbers to watch: 15 Valverde, Real Madrid. He's probably going to be up against Ismael Kone, which is exciting because Kone, the young guy, 21, at Watford, now going to Marseille, he is hit or miss with his games, but he tends to pick his game up when he's playing the big boys. And so he's definitely into it for this one. Number 19, Nunez, Liverpool man. He's had a bunch of minutes. 20, Araujo, he's with Barcelona and La Liga. Those are my three guys to watch for the Uruguay starting 11. Bouncing then to, and I'm in the wrong one. Just give me a second here, and I've got to get out of this. Bouncing to the Canadian roster just really quickly. Dane St. Clair, there's the young guy. Alistair Johnston and Bobito, they've had minutes all the way through. They're going to get them again. De Fougerolles, as I said, the 18-year-old young guy. He looks younger than 18. Like, you see the pictures of that kid, and he looks like he's a 15-year-old kid. But all word is on the street that the kid can play. And so there we go. I actually don't believe that they... I thought that they canceled it, and I didn't look into it, to be completely fair. The match matters. This match matters because it's $1 million still on the line. Both clubs got $2 million for advancing this far. The winner of this one gets an extra $1 million, which big scale of things doesn't sound much, but for the Canada Soccer Association, it matters. So,
here's the chips. I'm done.
Thank you, sir. I now have chips. Can you turn the fan back on me? As my assistant coming in to help me out. Oh, I got it.
Thank you, Dad.
Thank you, sir. You can close the door when you leave. Cute. They're more mobile, and it's going to be a fun year with Wrexham, as people are probably going to end up seeing them jump more in and more out, I imagine, over the course of the year. Other changes up front. Ahmed's going to get a start this time. Larea, who's been playing, he's the experienced captain, the Band-Aid. He plays in all roles. He's going to slide in the midfield. Osorio, more than probably anybody with his connections to South America. These games matter. Schaffelbergs and Kone have earned it on quality and are still there. And Chonier, who I've never heard of, never saw him, never watched him play for Montreal. He got his run out in the last match when things were looking dire, and he performed really, really well. So excited to see what would happen. I would assume that would be the case, W&G over there. I don't know how I feel about third place games. The thing for me with Canada is, if we are able to win this, we jump up like 10 points in the FIFA rankings. We've climbed up to the live rankings. I think we sit at 43rd or 42nd or 43rd, but we get well into the 30s. And so I'm excited about the prospect of us getting there and sniffing around the top 30. Of course, everything matters, because to get those guys over to England, not necessarily just to Europe, but over to England, performances in these big games matter. And I think this is a showcase that does a lot of things to go and hopefully get those guys some opportunities. Although, I'll be honest, the U.S. fans fired Berhalter, their coach, and a lot of them say they shouldn't be sending so many people over to Europe because they're not getting full minutes. And they should be focusing on MLS and put the junkyard dog in their players. So, in any event, we've got Rex Coast Tour stuff. I wanted to be able to announce something that I've been working on with respect to the stuff that's going on my end, but it's not ready to be announced. I can't confirm that all that's going to go ahead. But the Rex Coast Tour, we're going to be there for the Bournemouth game and the Chelsea game, and I think we're 11 days away. Does that sound about right? And then turning around right after that. July 20th, that sounds 7 days away. I'm 4 days. I got to get going on getting everything ready. Chelsea on the 24th after that, and then after that, I'm going to be at the Men in Blazers, putting on a thing with Parky and Hugh at the Hollywood Theatre here in Vancouver. If you don't have tickets for that, you can pick that up on the 25th. If you're coming into town, the 26th at the Vancouver Welsh Hall, going to drink some beers and go to the pubs around there. And then the Pint, obviously, game day and the fireworks. So lots going on in that front, and ordered a whole bunch of new toys as far as flags and pins are coming from our sponsor, which I will announce when we get to the 20th. We'll have a sponsor, so we won't be running any ads during the live. I'll turn the ads on after the live, but we'll leave the ads alone, ad free, which it kind of should be, and it'll be nice and thankful for that sponsor, and we'll talk about that then. Questions, thoughts? I don't even know how many people are going to turn out for this one. We've only got 6. I could be by myself. It could be just with you guys, and I'm okay with that. I'm really excited for the Wrexham one, and I feel bad if you're showing up late. Lost a whole bunch of subscribers today, and I got some messages that basically said I dropped the ball for not watching or not having the stream going for the Wrexham Hanleytown match, and I just didn't know what to do with it. I had a birthday to go to. I probably would have had to have done that anyway. Because that was set up well in advance of the game, but I would have been sitting here staring at Twitter just like everybody else, having chats, and maybe that's what people wanted to do. And I apologize for not bringing up a poll to see if that's what it was, but it is what it is. If you don't have it, excuse me, FS1 or FS2. Somebody in the US who hasn't might want to have to tell me what you guys are watching it on. Available elsewhere by going to Live Soccer. LiveSoccerTV.com down below and loading that up. So go ahead and do that. And you're going to have to tell me, Marie, what is going on with the U.S. cycle. And the other thing is what you guys' thoughts are on the Wrexham jersey while we're at it, and we wait to find out what's going on. And we'll talk about the brawl and all that sort of stuff and my take on it, I guess, in the 19 minutes that we have. Just talking Wrexham briefly. Red homes, which is awesome, and I'm buying a red this year. I have the black and the white, so the red is definitely on the list. And then we have the away black and the third gold. And I think because I have a black, I'll be doing the red and gold, and I'm going to be doing a blind. Yes, I've heard that they're showcasing them. From what I read, they're not going to be available for purchase, which sucks. But I will research that before I make my order on Tuesday. Learning my mistake from last year where I double-clicked things and ended up getting extra credit charges. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens there. Let me know your thoughts on the jersey. Is it a way that they're controlling demand this year, that they decided to do it in the blind? Do you think that there's still going to be information that comes out Sunday, Monday, that's going to end up demonstrating and showcasing exactly what the jerseys look like? Are we going to be ordering them blind? And if we are you going to buy them? I'm probably going to buy them blind. They're going to be the kit that they're going to be wearing them this year. Need to have them, so I'm going to grab 2, and that'll be what it is. But I know that the girls are showcasing the black one. Oh no, the black ones aren't being showcased. The red and the gold will be showcased on the tour. The black is going to be held back for the game. I think it's against Fleetwood Town back in the UK. I haven't looked up the particulars of that one yet. Just trying to ram everything together, and I don't know. I haven't connected with the party who is doing the updates to find out if they're close to being finalized. I hope they are. If not, it'll be something that looks like this, and I guess we'll have to figure it out until I'm able to clean something else up. So it is what it is. Just wanted to talk about, take the Wrexham stuff, leave it aside. If you have questions, throw them in the chat. I'm happy to answer them. Give me your 2 thoughts while you're going at it. I wanted to talk briefly about the incident that happened in the Uruguay-Colombia match, if you didn't get an opportunity to watch it. 2 sort of trends that are out there, as far as one, a lot of people saying that the Colombian fans were attacking family, and so that the Uruguayans were out there players ended into the stands to defend their family, and I get the requirement and the desire to do that, and there is absolutely zero criticism from me on that being the case. I will say this: number one, the enforcement, the security, the police, those in the circumstances, they failed. And this is a stadium that's hosting a World Cup. It's a country that's hosting a World Cup, along with Canada and Mexico having games in a couple of years. You can't let that nonsense happen. And my first reaction is that's a failure in planning, a failure in security. And if that sort of stuff happens between drunk, rowdy fans, if somebody wanted to do something nefarious and really scary and had the opportunity to do it, are they really prepared? That's concerning. And so I don't like it. Not just the color palette W&G. I'll come back to the brawl here in a second. Not just the color palette, but also the actual markings. If you went to Twitter and you saw, or Instagram, and you saw Wrexham AFC's ad, it's a promo. It's got the claws ripping through. I don't know if they're going to incorporate them. I mean, if you've gone on Twitter as well, you've seen the warm-up ones. I assume that's going to be the type of gold that we're having, the one that they've got a black kit with a gold arrow that points directly down. Boo Liverpool, boo. Is that an homage to Nunez? Is that who we're booing? Or we just, is there some other noise of vinyl out there in the Twitter space that I haven't picked up? You'll have to let me know what that's all about. Or is that Liverpool because it is Nunez, and he is playing. Why did I mark him down? No, I marked him down as playing. I think that's an homage to Nunez. I don't think, and this is if I was doing a cross-examination or an examination for discovery or something in a litigation matter, I don't think that it was all, like, I think that family incident was an excuse or is being used as a license to do behavior that wasn't becoming on the Uruguayan fans or the Uruguayan players. I think they wanted to get into the muck a little bit, into the mix. For cancelling today's friendly. Yes, boo to Liverpool also for cancelling the friendly. I forgot about that. But we did pick up Henleytown, and Henleytown picks up 25% of their budget was provided today by just the people who went and showed up. It's going to be their largest attendance of the year. And so I like the fact that, boo Liverpool, but it worked out. We got our run out. It doesn't matter what the result is. Everybody got to kick the ball, and as it were, it's a good place to be. So just talking about Nunez, the Liverpool player, self-defense it is required to be proportional and reasonable. What circumstances and what force is necessary to respond to the danger that's evident for you? Here, he's going up and defending family, and I'm not saying that philosophy is true in every country, but it tends to be that language is what was your reasonable and proportionate response to an incident that was occurring. I don't think that was reasonable and proportionate. He went up and he was standing with his family, and then he went and directly started challenging and lifted his fists up and started to get into the. I think he wanted to get in the muck. I think primarily the security forces, the police, they failed. That's the biggest concern, and they deserve the largest slap on the wrist. But to the Uruguayan players, you don't go into the fan. You don't go in. I know that you're protecting family, but you could have gone up there, got the family, scooped them onto the pitch, and you're safe. And so I think that there was a desire to get into them. For sure, W&G. I don't think Henleytown went into this with any expectations that they were going to pull out a win. They may have hoped. But I do recognize the big thing for them. John's got suspect stuff going. I appreciate it. Get it how you can get it. It is available down below if you wanted to find the stream and you happen to have coverage to be able to pick it up. And that was the other thing. Vinyl, thank you. You've jumped it. The further evidence that he wanted to get into the muck, and this was his excuse, is he ran over and he grabbed the chair and tried to throw it up before it looked like it was a police officer. And the one that I really want to know is there was a guy in a blue shirt, and I believe he was like a training staff with the Uruguayan team. He went to jump up in the stands, and he took like a can fired by a player right straight in the jaw, and I think it knocked him out cold. And I've been trying to find videos to see exactly what happened to that poor individual, because he didn't see it coming. He was scrambling up into the crowds, and he just got to the top and got absolutely throttled. And fortunate for him, it looked like he landed in the stands and didn't fall backwards the 8 feet it would have been into the ground, because it looked like he got pounced. But look, you put yourself into danger, and scary things can happen, and you don't want that to happen. So in any event, those players get up there, no suspension. They'll have it afterwards, and it kind of fits in accords with Jesse Marsch's thoughts on Concacaf. As he actually said to CONMEBOL that the amount of favors that they gave to CONMEBOL teams and players that was unfair to those in CONCACAF, and they put together a sort of a list of them, was rather egregious. And I don't know whether, I didn't watch enough of Panama or Costa Rica or Mexico to know what circumstances they dealt with. I know that Canada got the benefit of some calls. And I know, you look at Bombito, who had the forearm elbow that I think was milked and certainly wasn't forceful, but it did forearm a guy in the jaw who overreacted. You compare that, though, to the headbutt on Johnston. It's been an interesting one. I believe, that's what I think, Vinyl. And I get defend family, and you are entitled to defend family, and all the more power to them if that's what they did. But the investigation has to happen. But just on my first blush, watching the videos, the Uruguayan players went beyond just defending family and did exactly as Vinyl said here, chose violence. I think it had to happen, right? I mean, I hope that we end up getting invited back. This has been amazing. To have the opportunity to play against the top teams in South America. We've never really had that chance. This is now the longest time in history that the Canadian team has been together. The Canadian men's national team has been together because, we show up for 2 games during World Cup qualifying or a handful of games for the Gold Cup. Even if you make it to the final, it's all pretty quick. You get to the World Cup and you've got your 3 matches, and for us, we were turfed twice, 86 and most recently. So this is been the longest we've been together all the way through this run, which as far as bonding and building the club and doing all those sorts of things, it's been a beautiful, wonderful, amazing tournament to be a part of, despite some of the ugly. Canada, the US, Mexico has to figure out its security thing, and we'll go from there. The lineups are there as you go through it, and if you are joining late, I see we're getting up to 11 people now as people get added. No suspensions for any of the Uruguayans. Jesse Marsch, prior to the broadcast, took shots at CONMEBOL for basically said they were condoning this type of that type of behavior going into the crowd, as what happened after Colombia, and condoning that type of behavior. And Uruguay, I thought, may end up playing other players, some of their B squad, as it were, even though their B squad still has some pretty good pedigree. They're not. 9 of their 11 top minute players are starting, 10 out of 11 from the last game. Canada going completely different. De Fougerolles, 18-year-old. He's getting his second cap and first start. Kid looks like he's 12. Chenier, you can see him on team if you're watching. He's getting in there. Ahmed, the young guy from the Vancouver Whitecaps. We're really going with 3 players that have had any minutes during this Copa America, not Concacaf, Copa America. Johnston, Bombito, and Larea. The rest, Kone's had a fair shake. Osario's had a fair shake, but there's De Fougerolles there. The rest, not a lot of time. I don't think there's going to be enough Canadian fans there to be completely fair. I saw that W&G, and something's got to change. Peterborough Sports. The same weekend that we play Peterborough, something's got to happen, because you can't have those. Or can it happen? I don't know how close the stadiums are in Peterborough, and I say stadiums. I don't know if Peterborough Sports, you can qualify their stadium as a stadium, but it'll be fascinating to see what happens there. I'm sure that's going to end up having to change. Somebody earlier, somebody later, maybe. Vinyl, and you say that, I just was bringing up their chart. He's spread the minutes though quite around quite well. He's had like 6 players who haven't got any minutes, but really, other than Canobio, who played 1 minute, Luis Suarez, 39-year-old KG veteran who's only played 34, and another player who's played 8, Lucas Olaza, and Guillermo Varela as well. Everybody else has had well over 100 minutes, and most of them in that 200, 300, 400. So he seems to mix it up with about a core of about 14, 15, and run with those, and then smatter in a couple of others. And for us, look, 2 reasons. I like it because you want to give these players every opportunity they can get to the highest level of domestic club soccer that they can. And for a squad that's outside of the top 30 in the FIFA rankings like Canada is, you've got to share those caps around. And so, getting, De Fougerolles has his cap. I thought we might see Tom McGill, the goalkeeper, for the same reason, as the Anthems are about to play. Lots of tickets in the 3rd place game, and I heard that they were just released like shortly before, once the teams were announced, which I thought was weird. Thought you'd be selling those in any event, but not a lot of love in watching a 3rd place game. But it still matters. $1 million is on the line. And for these guys, as young as they are, Ahmed, Chouanier, Oluwase, they're going to want to take the opportunity to prove that they belong on the international level and to show Marsch exactly what they can do. And this is going to be their opportunity against pretty much the best. Uruguay is not hiding anything. They're coming at you. Even the 2 guys that didn't play previously, they've been replaced with others. So, John, you're probably a little bit behind me if you're throwing teams who walked out on the field, because we're well into the anthems here. But... And Vinyl, that's part of the thing, is he said that he'd he'd cooked a lot of his players as far as Davey's got a little bit of a knock. He's still available, but David, Bombito's going to be the only guy I think who, if he is going to play most of the minutes here. All of the guys who he relied on to play every single minute of the tournament. So that's Alistair Johnston has played every single minute of the tournament for Canada so far. Bombito's played every single minute for Canada, and Maxime Crepeau, who may be keeper of the tournament, one of the two. It's the best one we can do. Yikes! Walking distance from Peterborough United to Peterborough Sports in less than an hour. So if somebody wanted to get in the mix, they could get in the mix. Well, and Charlotte was bragging, Kim, too, about the nature of their support. They've sold out every game, but third place games, other than the $1 million, and it's the runner-up prize. I guess some people say winning the third place game is better than finishing second, because at least you leave the tournament on a high and you're able to celebrate a victory. Once the whistle blows and the ball is kicked off, this one's gonna get heated and it's gonna get dramatic over time. And I'm sure Uruguay is going to be probably on their best behavior, or want to be. Gouging is a national pastime for us. It's one of the biggest shocks, Vinyl, as we go through things, isn't it? When you start to compare ticket prices between North America and the UK for sports, tickets going up to 30 quid for a lot of the games. Bolton just announced 4 or 5 days ago that when their home game, our away game to Bolton, they're charging us as an A club ticket, so that's 30 quid, so 5 quid more than the norm, and it's expensive, and that sucks. I also recognize that to get into the barn to watch a hockey game, I'm probably spending at least $150, if not $300. So what is that? 100 quid to 180 quid, 200 quid, somewhere in that range, just to go and watch an ice hockey match involving the top teams. A little bit different, I would suggest, maybe because there's different tiers and there's more teams that are involved and more packed together in the UK. In Canada, like if you go from the NHL, the top level, there's just 30 teams. Then you drop down into the AHL, and the tickets there are affordable. That's pretty much on par. So it is what it is. But this one's going to be a fun one to watch. I don't know. These young guys are going to want to prove a thing. They're also against an absolute powerhouse that, I'll be honest, I expected to be in the final match, and I had them pegged for the final match throughout. In the games that I saw of them, I was exceptionally impressed with their control in the final third, not with their finish. Nunez, I think he's got 2 goals in the tournament. I can look that up, or it could pop up on the graphic and we can wait for it. Nunez, I think he's just got 2 goals. The goal scoring has been pretty much by committee. Oliveira has 2, Nunez has 2, Maximiliano Araujo has 2, and then it's 1 for Pelestri, Valverde, Bentancur, Vigna, and Matthias Oliveira. So they mix it up. As far as their scoring goals. We shall see what happens. If anybody on Twitter, I have not, to be fair, gone through and dug out too much details of the Hanleytown match, just because it's the first time on the pitch with the guys during the practice. I will say this. I think it was prudent to do one before they went on the tour. I think it's exceptionally prudent that they've got one on the way back. And that allows them, when they come over here, because these are just friendlies. Put out whoever you want when you come here. I don't care. Oh my God, Kim. Preach the gospel. Imagine spending, and to be fair, $300 for a hockey ticket, you can't even get one for the Maple Leafs. Those guys are suckers and spend way more than that. The most I've ever paid for a ticket is I paid $500 to sit on the very top of the stadium, the arena, to watch a semifinal Game 7. Some things that you might not have heard as far as the match that occurred against Argentina in the semifinal. 6.9 million viewers in Canada watched that. Just as a comparison, the Stanley Cup Finals, not the Game 7, but as an average, the Stanley Cup Finals, that's the NHL ice hockey playoff finals. There's a 7-game series, or a best out of 7. The average was 2.09 million. So there were a lot of Canadians who got drawn in, and a lot of Canadians who thought that the antics in that game were comical. This is why I don't watch soccer, is because of all of the diving that was going on. And lots of talk about Kone and that ball in the back, which I thought was the greatest form of protest I've ever seen in a game, to counter DePaul, who was flopping all over the place, lined him up and gave him a boot in the back. So we are about to get ready. I'll get the roster, or everything's started up here. Hopefully we don't have the drone-like footage. Looks like they're maybe half capacity. To be fair, I think BC Place is going to be, and it only has really 2 levels, won't be too much more than that. $25 to see the Red Wings. I'm flying to Detroit. I got one of my best friends is a Red Wings fan, and he flew to Vancouver, and we went, and between his flights, he probably dropped $1,000 just to take in a single game. We are underway. For those of you who do not have a dodgy stream, Canada going from right to left, Uruguay from left to right, and players out of position like Larea playing. He's played left back before, but he hasn't played with Bombito. And then you've got de Fougerolles back there, who we've never seen in the back, and actually I don't see him in the back right now. Or is he playing? There he is. He is. So he is in the center of the right side of that 4, not the far right. Alistar's far right. He's the right side of the 2 in the middle. So in 1987, I guess that's the reason why so many people head down to Seattle to watch Canucks games or travel down to Vegas, is the tickets are a little bit cheaper when you go down there. I did hear that W&G. I don't have the date out of it on the top of my head, but I'm hoping to capture all that. And I'm trying to figure out the iFollow stuff. It's unclear to me whether if I pay that $200 and some, whether it's going to be for this season or if I'm buying last season. So I'm kind of holding off on that a little bit. I ordered flags today, 2 of them, or yesterday. They'll be here in about 4 days for 6 foot by 6x4s. 5x3, 6x4, 6x4 flags that I'm probably send one back over to see if somebody will hang that in the race course. Fleetwood Mac, Fleetwood Town. Kim, sounds right. A week in advance of the starter on the 10th sounds about right, and then turn that one right round. And I say the 10th. That's a late start as well. So I'm debating whether we start early. Pick a different game and watch it, and then get ready for the Wrexham match. So you guys will have to let me know if you think that's a good idea. We could turn it into a whole extended thing. And what team would we want to watch? What game would we want to watch other than Wrexham in the opener? I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe I should bring up and we can see what other delicious ones are there. As Canada's going to get its very first corner of the whole match, I should focus on this 2 minutes in. Another reminder, if you're following along, that's where I am, so no spoilers. If you are going ahead, feel free to pause it if you want to listen to me drone on about this one, and I thank you guys for joining me. I'm excited, and I can't wait for the Wrexham season, obviously, to start. Lots of spread in this. Not all together in the box, so we'll see how this in-swinger comes. Schaffelberg, far post, way too far, and had a slip. Can it get saved? Osorio can't get it. So this will be the first time that Uruguay is going to have an opportunity to build up from the back, and this is where I think part of the strategy is going to be for us to go slow against Uruguay, where we raced against Chile, we raced against Peru and Venezuela, and we kind of were moderate against Argentina. I think against Uruguay, just because of how clinical and capable they are in their final third, you try to keep the ball, and we've nicked it back. Coming out with some hustle, Schaffelberg jumps over, it's tackled out. We'll get a corner on the other side. Let's go. I do want to win this. $1 million is a big thing. All League One matches start at 5:30, or just the televised ones? Is that just for the opener? I'll have to look that up. I thought that there was going to be earlier games. Let's see. And it's nice to have to type in League One matches. Oh, they all are. There's a game after. Nothing off of the corner on the in-swinger. Wrexham's at 9:30. So there's a game after. Mansfield Town and Barnsley. So you're right. Well, that's lame. I guess they're trying to get more spread through everybody, and I can get that. And John, yeah, since you did it, let me know that my concern with buying it right now is it wasn't clear to me that I was buying the new subscription. And so I didn't want to And so it says it was for the 2024. I'll have another look. I was looking at it this morning and was feeling a little bit less than confident. The membership's been upgraded. I'm ready to buy the two jerseys. Back at it, John, and I'm apologizing to everybody who wanted me to watch the Hanley Town. Couldn't watch it, or at least do something with it. Wasn't there. My apologies for that. But we're warming up here. I'm hoping that the design component for this gets fixed up because I've been promising it. We'll see what ends up happening. It's definitely in the works in any event. It may develop as last year. If you go back to the first watch parties and then you watch where we're at now, it's night and day. So I'm hoping that we get some of those similar things. I plan on adding stuff to it, and also a lot of people looking for that Who Are You series. So we'll get at it. 4 minutes 50 seconds in Canada, asserting itself here nicely in this one with a lot of possession at the start and a couple of corners within the first 5 minutes. So. And it may be hard for Uruguay to get up on this game. It's a consolation prize, that's the benefit, I guess, of putting out the young, ugly? I'm not saying they're ugly. Young, hungry kids to go and perform. Because they've got a stake in this. They want more time that can't be a foul. That's got to be a free kick. We just went to kick the ball and he ran in front of our legs and got swept. Is he giving a free kick the other way for this? Because that's fascinating. Oh, actually, you know what? He got to the ball first. I thought he got to the ball after. Stuck his leg in there and ended up getting swept. No, so free ball. We'll get it back, but he just thought there may be an injury just in the way that he went down. It did look awkward. So... WG has all the details here, just if you hadn't seen it. I didn't pin it. Championship matches starting at 12:30 BST. League 2 at 3, and then ours at 5:30. We could watch a League 2 match, I suppose, if we wanted to. As a yellow card comes, does de Fougerolles get his yellow card right off the bat? 6 minutes in? Yikes. The young kid. Yikes. He's going to have to learn in a hurry. The pace of this one a little bit quicker, but that's a late tackle. Got in there with the leg and then drove it into the knee. Just a little bit late. Gotta be certain. But I'm excited. I haven't seen de Fougerolles, to be fair. He doesn't get a lot of time with Fulham. And if he does, I'm not really watching it, to be fair. I'm watching Wrexham. And this is only a second cap for us. So, good yellow left to Bruce. If you're going to get one, leave a mark. Let them know you were there. Free kick. 32 yards, I'm going to guess, out. I want to move that chat up. Just 1 second, if I can find it. Uruguayan corner, and here we go. No harm off of the free kick. This is what I kind of expected, to be fair, for most of the game. And I will say, Dane St. Clair, he started the game against... I jinxed it. 7 minutes in. You blinked, they scored. Yellow card, goes to the corner, doesn't get cleared, lands on the boot, and I didn't see who it was, and they just lifted it up over Dane St. Clair. And I was just going to say, Dane looked really good in the match against, despite allowing 4 goals. De Fougerolles, the young guy, missed the defender, ends up getting there, getting an education, the young lad, but he's just way too much separation, way too far back. Missed on that one. Yikes. I was hoping for more. I was excited to see the kid, and maybe he's just not ready. Bentancur, and that'll be his second, I believe, of the Copa America tournament. Let's pull that up and have a look for Bentancur. It is indeed his second. Potted that one, and we'll see what the boys have to say about that. And if I'm Uruguay, I'm just praying on the young man, and I'm hoping that he finds it. You know, for some people, it just takes them a little bit to get to adjust to things. It's got to be a big ask. 18 years of age, and you're stepping up against these guys who are like Real Madrid, Atletico. Liverpool, if they count. Lorea, right cross, flat, still there, bouncing around. Not able to get it as Osorio. Back over, tries to get it in as we're poking around at it, but no love, and that'll be a card going the other way. Or not a card, sorry, a foul going the other way. I hope not a card for that one. Jonathan Osorio. Ugh. Not what I wanted.